Hi, good morning. I'm Shawna Tillery, and I currently serve as the Planning and Project Development Manager for Greensboro Parks and Recreation. So we started reinventing our public engagement in 2018 when we started working through our Plan to Play, which was our master plan. We wanted to kind of engage on a variety of different levels, and one of them obviously increasing our online presence and in combination with our in-person engagement. So with that, we kind of moved through this thought of like thinking through how can we do a great combination of a traditional kind of what we called community conversations along with increasing that online presence. And kind of the first step for us in doing that, and I don't have a marketing background, so this was kind of a learning experience for me, but we are fortunate in our community to have a communications department which kind of worked with us with creating a marketing plan, but really outlining what the important steps were in making this transition happen. And as a planner, it was really important for me to kind of have everything lined out to create a brand and a focused form of engagement. So we started working with that process and creating how we were going to do the online engagement through a combination of surveys, continued engagement with our community, what that would look like, and how we developed those surveys. So a lot of communities might not have the ability to create kind of a branded plan. So when you're going through that process of kind of trying to develop a master plan from that point of view, I think it's important that you work with your consultant team. If you're working with a consultant, to have someone on that team that's going to be able to provide that service to you, if you're not comfortable with having that in house and internally being able to do that. We worked a lot with our consultant team with doing the online engagement, both in house and a combination of it outsourced. And as for us, it was really important too to have someone on that team that was locally based. And so I'll get a little bit more into what our branding and messaging was. So we were intentional from our online engagement through working through a series of very short survey questions. Nobody likes to answer a survey question that's 15 questions or more long. Nobody's going to take more than a couple minutes to fill out a survey. So we wanted to be very intentional and very to the point and specific about that. So we spent a lot of time working with breaking down those into manageable components. We had surveys that were specifically addressing our facilities, surveys that were specifically addressing our programs, our amenities, and our vision. So we wanted to keep that messaging very quick and to the point. We used a SurveyMonkey tool, but we also used, you can see on the screen, these embedded messages that we kind of solicited out through Facebook and email addresses that we had through our various registrations with our programs. That was a great way to get the messaging out. And we were also on the back end able to see what was effective from the Facebook clicks and also from our constant contact email out list, like how many people were clicking on it at a certain point in time. I think it was also important that each month, with being intentional from that perspective, we also offered up to our community kind of a incentive. So people were able to put their email address in, and we would do an incentive for a giveaway, whether that was a specific rental at one of the lake facilities that we had, a birthday party package at one of the recreation centers, kind of a free summer camp, or whatever you're able to offer, even events within your community, working with specific vendors for concert tickets or anything like that. That was a way that we were able to kind of incentivize the surveys. A lot of times people use like food at their in-person engagement, but for us, for this online engagement, we wanted to have some kind of incentive for people to take it, the survey. And we limited, like I said, those surveys specifically to 5 questions. So we did not want people taking a lot of time to answer those questions. And we also didn't want a barrier to be having to put in your name and your where you live and all that kind of stuff. But we did want to capture kind of where we were getting the most folks from in our community. So for us, we have about 8 or 9 different zip codes within Greensboro. So we wanted to at least know from what particular area of the community we were getting those responses back. So We did put in an optional piece on whether they could identify as a male or female and what zip code they were coming from. So we knew from a lot of the information where people did give us that we were touching like a certain demographic within the community. So as we were going through that and evaluating that data, we tried to kind of be intentional about reaching out to specific groups that we may have been missing. And it was really important for us to kind of like break down those surveys into those specific themes, because it was a way to also be inclusive of everyone, because everyone might not want to answer a survey about programs or a survey about facilities, but they might want to be very visionary and want to answer a survey about vision. So we wanted to be very intentional on offering up a variety of engagement that was, again, intentional, specific, short, and people would be excited about giving us a response. So I'll turn it over to Elizabeth.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, we also had a statistically significant survey that went out. And so we used our online and in-person engagement to really validate that statistically significant survey. And what we found is they almost exactly mirrored one another. So that was one of the ways that we got around not collecting quite as much demographic information. We collected just enough to where we could really validate that survey.